All right. Court is calling 2025 CR 010295 State versus Johnny Richard Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record?
Mr. Sullivan for for Mr. Gonzalez. Sorry.
And are you Johnny Richard Gonzalez? All right, you entered a plea to count 1 and count 2. You entered a plea of guilty. The defense waived PSI and waived a TAP evaluation. According to the plea bargain agreement, the state was proceeding on counts 1 and 2. Punishment was to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is opposed to your application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. They're taking in consideration 2025 CR 013223. There's to be restitution of $180 to DPS. And there's to be restitution in AUS-2502-02545. State, do you have any witnesses?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor. Okay.
Defense, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Then state, you are opposed.
From what I can see in front of me, I believe our opposition has to do with his criminal record. I'm going to hand it over to Dan.
All right, thank you. So if you'll announce for the record, please. All right, defense has informed me on this case. He has no witnesses. The state is opposed to the defendant's application. Do both parties need a couple of minutes?
Yes, Judge, I guess it's review. I was going to offer the criminal history.
Yes.
That's one place.
Okay.
Or so at this time to get our first two point.
No objections, Your Honor. I think this all boiled down to 1 conviction for drugs and 1 conviction in the police for affliction. It's the problem all. I'm comfortable. We have no objections to the.
Then the court will review the exhibit. All right, defense, any witnesses or is just argument?
Just argument, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
Yes, ma'am. As I look at his history, he's got an issue, and all of it seems to circle around drugs. The court did the thing I think that's helping him the most, regardless of the sentence today, and that was he needed treatment. And he got treatment, and he went to lifetime. I think it was 45 days there. And Your Honor, since that time, my understanding, the reason he was put back in jail was because he was having some issues with his bail bondsman. And the conclusion, and the only conclusion I can reach about him, it's an excellent one. And that is the fact that treatment so far took on him. And we would submit to the court based on that this court consider probation and all the things that this court can use to make sure he performs well. Or in the alternative, this is a cap, sentence him at the lower end of the cap. And once again, this is because from what I can tell, lifetime took. And I know he's got a lot more work to keep it working. He's going to have a day-in-day life where you fight drugs, and there's a program out for them. He needs to make a meeting every day for the next 90 days, regardless if he's in jail or out of jail. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, you're asking that you deny the application since 8 years in prison. I think that the defendant's record is pretty clear that he had been given a chance previously for treatment. And not only does he keep possessing narcotics and controlled substances, but with felony convictions, he's also possessing firearms. And so as part of the plea deal, we did waive the habitual enhancement. And what was listed on the indictment is a 2017 conviction for possession with intent to deliver PG1 less than 1 gram, but in a drug-free zone. And then the second enhancement was for a 2020 felon in possession. And so I think there are programs to address drug issues, but there's no program to address somebody that just is committed to possessing firearms for that reason.
All right, thank you. Is there anything you wish to say?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Johnny Richard Gonzalez.
All right, what would you like to say?
I'd like to say that lifetime recovery helped me a lot because I didn't know how to deal with none of my past issues. I was self-medicating, and with lifetime recovery, I learned how to cope. I learned how to ground myself and process the situation, and now I know how to cope with it. And I would like to continue my life with the tools that I learned at lifetime.
All right, state any questions?
So, Mr. Gonzalez, back in 2024, when you picked this case up, and then you have the other case that was from 2025, you're aware of those two charges that you're here for today, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so you would agree with me that the facts and circumstances of both of the cases are kind of similar, correct?
Yes.
And that you were operating a motor vehicle both times, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then both times you were asleep at the wheel, is that correct?
Yes.
And that's how the police officers make contact with you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so in the 2024 case, you were also, well, I guess what was going on in your life that you were asleep at the wheel of a motor vehicle?
I was going on with family issues, and so I was self-medicating, and I was working as well. So I just didn't know how to cope with none of that stuff.
And when you say self-medicating, what were you using to do that?
I was using methamphetamines so I could still be able to work.
And then in the 2024 case, and that case, you were also in possession of a floodlight, is that correct? The motor vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you complete lifetime recovery? Was that a part of your bond?
It was part of a pretrial. Yes. And I don't remember the date I completed.
And was that inpatient or outpatient?
It was inpatient.
Okay. And do you recall how many days that was?
It was 45 days.
Okay. And then just regarding your history, I mean, you do have prior history of drugs and also possessing a firearm, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Just one question.
Mhm.
You understand for the rest of your life, especially for the first 2.5 years, you need to make a meeting every day, sometimes more than one day.
Yes, sir.
That's the only way you know you can make it.
Sir.
Thank you. Pass it, Sean.
All right, I have a few questions. Any objection?
No, no, no.
Okay, so gang affiliation, any?
No, ma'am.
All right, so you said you were going through things. What things were you going through that you continue to use?
I was going through my father had just passed recently, and so while he was sick, everybody was fighting over the property, and I was not. My brother does not let me stay there because I was self-medicating and stuff. But everyone's arguing over the property and stuff, and just
Which people do when there's no will.
yeah.
That's why everybody should have one.
Mhm. And so when my father passed, my brother ended up making a will and put everything in his name. So I was in the streets, so I was just
Well, that's sort of a crime, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
Somebody just can't make up a will after somebody passes and sign off on it.
So like I was just
But it's been to happen.
I was just trying to survive, but I didn't know how to cope with none of that stuff before. I didn't know how to ground myself and process it and use my brain. So, but I learned a lot when I was in Lifetime.
What did you learn at Lifetime?
I learned how to slow down and process the situation, and instead of taking off to the races, no, I ground myself and find coping skills as working out or the Bible and working, just staying busy and doing meetings and just speaking about my problems.
Mhm. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
I have a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
And have you been in their life at all
Yes, ma'am.
while you've been using?
Unfortunately, it's
All right, any other questions?
No question, John.
All right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna give you a choice. Some people I can give choices. Some people I can't give choices. Some people will come before me and they'll say, hey, you just gave this guy a choice. Why can't I have a choice? And I'm like, because you're charged with murder, you know? So I'm going to give you a choice. Here is your choice. One, are you deserving a deferred adjudication? Absolutely not. But I will give you deferred adjudication. And what I can tell you about deferred adjudication, the state is asking that your punishment be capped at 8 years. If you are unsuccessful at deferred adjudication, you will be looking at the full range of punishment. That's 10 years, right? But I'm telling you, with deferred adjudication, you're going into inpatient treatment. You're either doing inpatient treatment or felony drug court. Felony drug court, they may or may not be able to accept you. We can see. But if felony drug court doesn't accept you, inpatient treatment, there's no coming back to me saying, Judge, it's taking too long for inpatient treatment, because that's where you would be going. Or this is your other option. I will find you guilty and I will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. Which do you prefer?
inpatient.
All right. Then this is what the court will do. Counts 1 and count 2 will run concurrently. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. And state, I know you were opposed, but does anyone want to give their opinions on the length of a deferred adjudication?
I'll defer to the court.
I would defer to the court too. I think you're using your wisdom to decide where you're going. And I agree. If this guy needs to be in a place, from my life's perspective, that he has to live with this every day. In the words he's got to constantly say is go to a meeting, go to a meeting, go to a meeting. If you feel anything in your brain, any new thing or old thing, drag your butt to a meeting. That is one thing you can always simply do.
All right. So there is to be 8 years deferred adjudication, proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. That could potentially change. It's going to 100% depend on you, because you should not be around any children, unless you are supervised in a controlled environment until I deem that you are clean and sober. There's to be no residing in households with minors. There is to, Ms. Abrams, do we still need to do a TAP, even though I'm saying that he is to do inpatient treatment?
Yes, Judge.
All right, there's to be a TAP evaluation in custody. Follow TAP after TAP in custody, I want inpatient treatment. So there'll be inpatient treatment. I want a referral to felony drug court in custody. And of course, Ms. Abrams, this felony drug court accepts him. I would prefer for him to be in that program. There's to be field visits 1 time per month until further notice. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated. 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once that's completed, 20 hours will be deemed satisfied. The remaining 180 hours, for every sober meeting you do, 100 hours will be deducted from your community service hours. Take in consideration 2025 CR 013223. There's to be $180 restitution to DPS. State, The cause number I guess this is AUS 2502
Yes, Judge.
02545. Is that different from the DPS?
That's just a reference number for the GPS, like
Okay.
reference for the restitution.
All right. So there's $180 restitution to DPS with reference number AUS 2502 02545. Probation, is there anything else that's needed?
Patient, could have been if you want.
He needs safety. Oh, I said 8 years deferred. Thank you. Is there anything else?
Nothing else on my end, Judge.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. So here's the thing. You came in here thinking, hey, I'm probably going to go to prison. This is your chance to change your life. If you do not, what's going to end up happening is you're looking at 10 years in the prison on each of these counts. It'll run concurrently because it has to run concurrently, but that will be potentially 10 years away from your children if you mess up on that. And by the time you come out, some of your children will be adults, and some of your children may be calling somebody else father, right? And if you don't want that, you need to change your life, because the last time you use may be the last time you use. You understand? And you now know, if you didn't know before, you're not allowed to possess any weapons. I know that sometimes people are going to go get drugs from certain places they shouldn't be getting drugs for, so they need protection. You can't do that. You're not allowed to carry a weapon. You're a felon. You understand? Is there anything else that you need from the court so that you can be successful on this probation? All right. So here's the thing. From here on out, everything that you do, you need to ask yourself, could this potentially result in me going to prison for 10 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, then do it for your children. You should always do it for yourself. But if you don't think you're worth it, ask yourself, are your children worth it? You understand? And that whole conflict you have with your relatives, when you use, sometimes relatives get tired. It's like, we've invested this, we can't trust them anymore. So you're going to have to build up your reputation for trust and honesty with them again. You understand? All right. Good luck to you. No, I don't have the, all right. Thank you. All right. Thank you.